I'm going to break down the fastest way you can fix your Buzzy chords. I'm Jake, and if you're anything like my student Taylor, who asked, how do I get the G and E string not to buzz when I'm playing a D chord? I'm going to explain the problem, give you the solution, tell you what to do to put that solution into place to fix your playing, and at the end, I'm going to give you an exercise you can do to build the muscle memory necessary to get clean, clear chords every time. And while I'm thinking about it, if you want to get feedback from me just like this, you can join my free course and community at school.com/guitar. Let's start by talking about the problem. Most beginners think when they get a Buzzy chord, they need to squeeze harder to get that chord to be clean. Now, this is logical because the first time we do it, our chords get cleaner. But this isn't because we're pressing harder. It's because when we press harder, our fingers roll into a more optimal position on the tips of the fingers, getting those chords to ring cleanly. As I squeezed harder, you could see my fingers rolled into a better position. It's not the squeezing that is making the chord clear, it's the better position. The squeezing just gets us there. Unfortunately, it tells our brain squeezing fixes Buzzy chords. But that will only get us so far. So how do we get clean, clear chords without adding extra tension by squeezing harder? The answer is we want to be on the tip top of our finger. Now, I'm sure you've heard that before. Most guitar teachers will tell you that, but most people don't understand how far the tip of the finger really is. A lot of people hear tip of the finger and they think something like this. Now, that's not a terrible position, but that's not the very point of the finger bone. And that's what we want. When we say tip of the finger, we want that point of the bone going into the string. It's much closer to our nail bed than most people think. Something more like this. You can see how much closer to my nail that is than most people think that it would be. That finger placement rolling really far onto the tip of our finger, so the point of our bone is what's contacting the string and pushing it down against the fret, that is what is going to give us clean, clear chords. Quick side note before we get into the practical stuff, getting your hands to do this. This will require short fingernails. Again, probably shorter than you're used to, but that's the only way we're going to be able to get so far onto the top of our fingers, and why so many guitarists, violinists, mandolin players, strings players in general have very short nails, especially on the fretting hand. Now we know what the ideal position is, but how do we get ourselves to use it? What do we do? Start by just doing a nice loose thumbs up with your fretting hand. You don't need to death grip with your fingers. And you're going to take that thumb and you're going to put it about in the middle of the back of the neck. It could be a little north of middle, but definitely not south, about the middle of the back of the neck. And then you're going to curl your fingers around so you're on the tip top of your finger. Now I want you to notice, if I turn my hand here, you can see how much space there is between my hand and the neck. My palm isn't touching it. I'm not gripping it and coming over. I got the pad of my thumb and the tips of my fingers, and that is it. Now, before we go on to the exercise I want to give you to help make this muscle memory and feel very comfortable for you, I want to know what chord is giving you the most trouble, the most buzz. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. I want to see if it's similar for everybody or if we're all over the map with the chords that are giving us the most difficulty. As promised, here is my favorite exercise for building the muscle memory to keep on the tips of our fingers for all our chord changes. I call it the grab, strum, and release. You're going to start with that loose thumbs up. You're going to put it in that middle of the back of the neck position. You're going to roll your fingers around. You're going to place your fingers or grab the chord. You're going to strum it, listening to hear if there's any buzz, and then you're going to let it go. But we want to drop our hand all the way because we want to have to make the chord again. It's really easy, or a lot easier, to just stay really close and lift up and set down this chord. And while that's good and will help, forcing yourself to use that middle of the back of the neck, tip tops of the fingers, making the chord, listening, and then letting go and starting again is where we're going to build that muscle memory and get your left hand or right hand, if you're a left-handed guitarist, used to grabbing the neck and getting right to the tops of your fingers to get those clean, clear chords. And that's it. That's the exercise. 10 reps per day on a chord that's giving you trouble is going to work wonders in your playing, making sure that chord is ringing clearly. Now, if you've got your guitar out and you're practicing, you'll probably like this video where I give you my favorite exercise for building finger independence and control of your fretting hand.